There are three ways to transfer or transport a muscle car. Of course, number one, you can drive them from the storage facility, whether it's your garage, your home, or a third place, directly to the car show. The advantages, of course, are ease of transport. The disadvantages are longer the distance, the more the issues, cost and repair issues during the trip, and exposure to other drivers. Your second way to transport is via a trailer or ramp truck. Advantages, of course, is you get to keep the creature comforts of the towing vehicle and still unhook the trailer and drive the towing vehicle around. The disadvantages are the hassle of towing, the towing factor, and the fact that you have to buy a trailer. I'll talk about that in a minute. The third way to transport a vehicle to a car show is to pay a commercial hauler. We have used several. The only one I will use now is Reliable Transport. I used them to haul all 8 of our cars to McCacken in 2022. The advantage being you don't have to deal with it. The disadvantage is it's very expensive. When we bought our first wing car a couple of decades ago, I did not know how to transport it. It wasn't drivable. It's my Alpine white one, and I had to get it from Florida to Indiana. And I bought a enclosed trailer, a 20-foot enclosed trailer, hauled it to Florida, and put the car in the enclosed trailer and then hauled it home. Now, a few things that I learned was, number one, I'd bought a 20-foot trailer. That car is 19 feet long. That doesn't really leave you any room to crawl underneath to tie it down or any room to address issues. So there's an issue. Number two, it did not have a winch in it. So we had to push the car up the ramp at the back of the trailer called a beaver tail ramp. Very difficult. Part 3, they're just wide enough to get in and out of the car, but you can't hardly get out when the door is open. So these were things that I learned in buying my first trailer. Well, that trailer got stolen about a year later, and we replaced it with a second enclosed trailer. So I bought a 24-foot trailer. It's called a V-nose. And that gives you room to store parts, etc., etc. Problem is that trailer got stolen too. So the third trailer that I bought, the enclosed trailer we currently have now, it is a 24-foot V-nose. That gives us plenty of room to get the car in. But one thing that we did, we added an in-floor winch so that we can electrically pull a car up in there. In fact, we've used that trailer to haul the orange Hemi Daytona. When I bought it several years ago, it wasn't running to haul it up in there. What about an open trailer? The advantage of an open trailer, it's a lot cheaper, a lot easier to haul. Disadvantage is security. Frankly, security and exposure to the weather and elements. Again, if I was buying an open trailer, make sure you buy longer than you need. Make sure you buy heavier duty than you need. We did buy our open trailer, which is an old one, is a dual axle. We built in a steel plate so that we can unhook the winch out of the enclosed trailer and bolt it to the open trailer if we need, so we can move it back and forth. So I have both an open and an enclosed trailer. Summary, the open trailer is much easier to pull because weight difference, but primarily because of visibility while driving. You can see a lot better. The disadvantage is security and the ability to haul extra parts. The closed trailer brings that. If I was to get another closed trailer, I would make sure to have a longer vehicle with a V-nose. I would at least manually put in a winch, which we have done. We have a special plate that we made up and welded to the floor so we can bolt the winch in. I love that raised tire ramps so that you can get under the car and tie it down. The one thing I don't have on our current enclosed trailer is the escape door on the driver's side. It's very difficult to get out of that car. So there's the issues on an open or enclosed trailer and the limits of both of them. So about the time that we got our second wing car, the yellow Daytona, I realized one of the drawbacks of trailing our car was in order to take 2 cars to a show, I'd have two drivers, 2 vehicles, 2 trailers. There are many times that I prefer to go to a car show by myself because it's spur of the moment or various other reasons. And it was about that time I began to look into alternatives to 2 trailers, 2 drivers, 2 vehicles. At first I thought about buying a longer trailer and that just wasn't going to work. First, I don't have a CDL and I believe CDLs are probably required for that. Second, just the hassle factor of pulling a 45 or 50 foot long fifth wheel trailer behind a pickup just didn't really interest me too much, and I started to look into a ramp truck. A ramp truck is a conventional heavy duty, usually 1 or 2 ton vehicle. In Dodge's case, it's a 3500 model. It's a vehicle that a commercial company, primarily the Hodges Company out of down in western Kentucky, they've removed the rear bed, leaving only the cab, and they put a drive-on bed on the back of it, making it a ramp truck. There's ramps that come out of the back. You drive up onto the back, and then you're able to use it at that point. The advantage of the ramp truck is that you're not pulling a trailer, so you've only got one vehicle. The vehicle can be pulled right up onto the bed of the truck so that you're not pulling a trailer behind you, but you also maintain all the creature comforts of the existing truck itself. The ramp trucks, if you get a good Hodges truck, they have multiple built-in storage units underneath the bed of the truck. A lot of them have a built-in winch, and most importantly, one guy can operate with 2 vehicles, because behind the ramp truck, all the ramp trucks I've seen, they come with a square hitch, and you can install a hitch ball and pull a trailer behind it. So that's why I started looking at ramp trucks. Now, in looking at ramp trucks, I wanted a crew cab, because I wanted the comfort of having enough room to take 4 people if I wanted. But the real drawback to the ramp truck is you've got the expense of buying a second vehicle and the maintenance and insurance and plates and so on. So I began looking for various ramp trucks, looked all over the internet, and finally I found a Dodge 1999 Dodge 3500 crew cab or quad cab, a diesel ramp truck. It was a 5-speed. I kind of wanted an automatic, but it was a 5-speed. Had about 180,000 miles on it. It was for sale up in northern New York by a guy who'd owned it to haul cars. He said it was in good shape and that I could drive it okay and drive it home okay, although he was a little concerned I was going to drive it that far. I'm not really sure why. We found out later. He did tell me he'd had a reasonably new clutch and transmission put in, and I bought the truck basically after a number of phone calls and pictures swapped back and forth. I bought the truck sight unseen. Flew into New York. He met me at the airport. We exchanged the money. I got the truck and the title and proceeded to drive it home. And I bought it in about 5 years ago in 2019, I believe. And when I bought it, as I said, it had 184,000 miles on it. I paid $19,500 for it when I bought it. When I got the truck, it was blue in color. It was in pretty good shape, not great shape. A number of little minor issues, but nothing big. So I got it home. I proceeded at first to replace all the little broken things, the bulbs that were burned out and various gauges, etc. I noticed the bed of the truck, because it was being used up north, had a fair amount of rust on it. The ramps that pull out of the back are steel ramps. They were pretty well rusted. So I immediately set up an appointment with Hodges to get new aluminum ramps and new tie-down straps. On the drive back, I found out why the guy was a little worried. One of the rear wheel bearings froze up, locked the axle, and snapped the axle in half on the drive back from Hodges. So I had to spend an incredible amount of money, several $1,000s. I bought a whole new rear end, actually out of a junkyard. Put on new rear brake shoes and brake drums, flushed the radiator, and fixed the ABS speed sensor, fixed all the things that were there. And actually ended up having to come back, leaving the truck at the dealership. So about 3 weeks later, I drove back down to get the truck. I picked up the truck at the Dodge dealership at Henderson, Kentucky, pulled the pickup that I drove down, pulled it up onto the back of the ramp truck, thinking the advantage that gives, and proceeded to drive home. Okay, well, that wasn't the end of the problem, because on the drive home, I had a blowout. I very gingerly drove another 100 miles or so, got to the outskirts of Louisville, Kentucky, pulled into a big tire dealer, and replaced all 4 rear tires, because what I found was they were all old and date-coded, outdated. So I thought, let's just go ahead and put on 4 new rear tires and new front tires. Okay, we proceeded then to change oil and do various other things. That fall, we drove it around quite a bit. I drove it to several car shows, took it to the Mopar reunion down at the 50th Wing Car Reunion down in Alexander City, Alabama at the Wellborn Museum. Fantastic time pulling a trailer behind it. I did find that when I had a wing car loaded on the back and I was pulling the enclosed trailer with a wing car inside it, it had some trouble on the mountain hills. And I think that's weight related, because we switched over on the trip back to the open trailer with the wing car on it and pulled the enclosed trailer behind a pickup, and we didn't have any problems. When I got back, I decided we were going to do some more. So the next summer of 2020, I took it into a truck painting company, and I had them repaint the truck to match our purple Hemi Superbird race car and go ahead and fix all the bed rust, etc. So we had it repainted. As soon as I got it back, I decided it was time to do a few more things. I was getting ready to plan for my Alaska trip I did in summer of 22. First thing, I bought a couple of big new Duralast Gold batteries. You know, the diesels have dual batteries, so we did them. And then that spring, we went ahead and rebuilt the entire front end, but all new shock absorbers all the way around it, new front brakes, and we aligned the front end. Okay, and drove it then all of 2021, no issues, various car shows, usually pulling the purple race car mounted on the bed of the truck. By spring of 2022, I knew that I was going to drive it to Alaska, and I thought, let's make sure everything else is right. I knew the rear end was good, I knew the suspension, the brakes, and everything else was good, but let's go ahead and take it in. We had a head gasket replaced, valve job, and did all the fuel and oil filter services, serviced the air conditioner, put on a new water pump, did all those things. And we did that in April of 2022 with about 190,000 miles on it. Okay, at that point, the truck is ready. Drove it all the way to Alaska and back with purple race car mounted on the bed, white Alpine Bird on the trailer behind it for the first 2,000 miles up and 2,000 miles back. Never had the first issue, ran air, ran cruise, had plenty of comfort. And here we are today. The Ramp truck clearly is the way to go. It gives me complete reliability. I jump in it today and drive it literally anywhere in the United States, pulling a trailer behind it, knowing I got cruise, I've got parts storage. In our 4 storage bins, one bin is full of tools, another bin is full of parts and lubricants for any B-body or big block Mopar. Another bin is full of things like emergency vests and lockdown tools and roller jack. I maintain a roller jack in there. I've helped a number of people out at car shows. I keep a distributor and water pump and various electronic parts and hoses and belts and lubricants back there. So I've helped a lot of people. And by the time you've got that hydraulic jack in the back as well, the pump up jack, the race jack, that makes life a whole lot easier. So it's been a life changer for Jennings Wing Cars. It allows me as one guy to pull 2 cars anywhere I want, including if I want to take my wife or someone else, in complete confidence. Although it's got 190,000 miles on it now, 195,000, with an all-new drivetrain, suspension, and brakes, I am comfortable with that thing anywhere we go, and I got cruise. And we've added a few other things. We've added backup cameras and recording cameras, real good radio, of course. I've got a big CB in it. Not too many people use that, but we love it because it gives one guy the ability to take 2 cars anywhere without any issues, in complete confidence, and driving literally 900 to 1,000 miles in a day. So there is the Jennings Wing Car ramp truck, the story behind it, why we did it, what we've got. I love that truck. It's funny, even the guys, Matt and Ryan, they love the truck as well. It's so easy to drive and so easy to haul a vehicle to a show. Would I buy another one? Well, here we are now, roughly 5 years later. As I said, I paid a little less than 20 grand for the truck. I probably got 35 grand in it now with repairs and so on, but you know, you couldn't replace it for probably 80 or 90,000. I think I could probably sell it for about what I've got in it. So yeah, it's been a life changer. I love it. It has been a wonderful tool that we utilize, and you guys will see around the country.